Good evening. Appreciate you joining us. I'm Brian Mastry.
And I'm Erin Sullivan. Let's get right into our top 6 headlines at 6.
We have breaking news tonight. The Omaha Tribe of Nebraska passed its rules and regulations for medical cannabis. Tribe tells First Alert 6 the next step, establishing application requirements for growers, manufacturers, sellers, and distributors. The Commission expects to discuss that at the next meeting in December.
An Omaha nonprofit working to bring affordable housing to Omaha just finished its first build. Omaha 100 cut the ribbon on these 4 new houses in North Omaha. Staff say they're meant for middle-income workers.
Today, the Department of Justice admitted not all the members of the grand jury which charged former FBI Director James Comey saw the final indictment. This major breach in procedure could lead to the dismissal of the case against him.
A hearing that could lead to the dismissal of a lawsuit challenging Nebraska's legal authority to hand over a correctional facility to ICE is now delayed. It was set for next week. Last month, a district court judge ruled ICE could continue to use the facility in McCook, but allowed the lawsuit to continue.
Iowa's Attorney General joined a coalition of 9 states worried about the merger of Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern will stifle competition and increase prices for farmers and manufacturers. The coalition asked the federal government to carefully review this proposal. UP is headquartered here in Omaha. Nebraska did not join the coalition.
NVIDIA stock is spiking in after-hours trading as the chip manufacturer easily topped Wall Street expectations for sales and earnings this quarter, mostly fueled by its AI chips. NVIDIA is the largest company in the world by market cap.
We're on First Alert for another cloudy evening.